And joining us today on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome back. A woman was with us about a year ago when she had her previous book out. She has written a new one called The Debt Escape Plan, How to Free Yourself from Credit Card Balances, Boost Your Credit Score, and Live Debt-Free. We're joined today by Beverly Harzog. She is up in Georgia today. And Beverly, good to have you back. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Doug. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, last year I think it was Confessions of a Credit Card Junkie was the book we talked about. So was that the first one you did?
That was actually my third book.
Third one. Okay.
Yeah, my new book, The Debt Escape Plan. That's my fourth book. So I've been doing this for quite a number of years now.
Yeah, you've been on a lot of the different TV shows and radio shows and newspapers as well, and really teaching people, hopefully, to manage their money better. I know you went through this. You talk about it in the book. You went through your own personal issues with it, so it makes you even more qualified, I would think, to write about it, right?
Well, I hope so. At the very least, it makes me very empathetic because I know what it feels like to really mess up with your finances, and you can come back from it. So it's my mission to help people avoid these issues, or if it does happen, help them recover.
I think so many people, and everybody in some part of their life, has a little issue with money. If you're not making much, you get into a little credit card debt. But it's not just those people either. I mean, it's people that have done well, maybe find themselves without a job, and then they run up credit cards to pay their expenses. You get in trouble.
That's right, Doug. This can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter how educated you are, what job you have, who your parents are. It just doesn't matter. This could happen to anybody. Money management, it just isn't intuitive. So you really have to take the time to learn some stuff and practice it and take charge of your finances.
I always wonder, maybe we talked about this last time, but why definitely in high school, and why not in any college major you take, why isn't there a couple of courses that you have to take on personal money management? It would help a lot of people.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, one of my dreams is to see, just a basic money management class in high school. And it doesn't have to be dull. There are so many ways you could make this interesting. High school, or at the very least, something in college that just covers personal finance.
Yeah, and college kids could use that probably more than anybody.
Absolutely, because they're at a point in their lives where they're getting mail from credit card issuers, from banks, offering them all kinds of financial products. So that's just a great time to learn about stuff and stay out of trouble.
How big is the credit card debt issue now, numbers wise, of people or amount people owe on average? Pretty bad, huh?
Oh, yes. And in the past couple of months, I've seen the numbers climb a little bit. And the reason I decided to write the Debt Escape Plan was because when I wrote Credit Junkie, I got so many emails from people telling me how much they love that book, but they wish they had read that before they got into credit card debt. So, all those emails I got and, seeing the credit card debt numbers start to climb a little bit, I thought, this is the time for this book right now. And we're starting, the economy is getting a little bit better, and that's a good thing. But sometimes, people start to get a little too relaxed again, and they start spending more, maybe more than they can pay back in a month. So, it's just very important. It's good to be happy and confident about your life, but you've got to have a budget and stick to that.
Yeah, you talk a lot about how you set up a budget, and I think you give a quiz in there just to kind of get your own personality for what you feel about money or how you react to money. That's a huge thing to find out that first, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, I like to do quizzes because people get very interested in that. People love to take quizzes, and it helps to reveal something about yourself. I really think there's a giant connection between money and our emotions and our personality. And I think it's very important to understand how you relate to money. What is your attitude? What's your personality like when it comes to budgeting, or if you even have one or don't have one. So I think it's very important to understand yourself, and as well as understanding money management and all the tools that are out there that can help you stay out of trouble.
Now, you found yourself in credit card debt for a good amount, and you talk about it in the book, how you got out of it. I guess, $1,000, $2,000, it's a lot, but it's not insurmountable. But if you get into this 5 figures or more, people I guess, a little paralyzed. They don't know what to do, and they don't do anything, right?
Yes, that's the perfect way to put it, paralyzed. I had a little over $20,000 in debt, and honestly, when I first decided I needed to take charge and get out of this trouble, I was afraid to look at the amount. I thought I might just pass out. So at first I started just, paying minimums just to get myself going. And then, after a little while, I was able to look at the amount and add it up and gauge my progress and make a plan for the rest of the payoff period. But it's very, very scary, and you just have to, I like to call it staring down your debt. You decide you're going to get out of debt, and you take a good long look at the numbers. You own it. You go, okay, I did this. I've got to get out of this. I can do it. And then you just take charge. You get your plan. You decide how to keep yourself motivated, because that is ultra important in this whole thing. Without staying motivated, you won't get to the end of this thing, because it's hard. It really is difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very difficult to stay on the program you set for yourself. And once you start paying down that debt, though, it's not all bad news. Once you start paying down that debt, you're going to feel such a rush of adrenaline. That's going to help keep you going. You're going to feel great about yourself and the direction you're headed.
Yeah, it's a discipline, but it's hard to get it started.
That's right. That's right. Once you get started, and I think just the very beginning is really, really difficult, because you feel like you're climbing a mountain, okay? But once you get started and you take a couple of steps in the right direction, and you start to see that balance come down even just a little bit, you're going to feel very motivated to continue.
Well, one good thing that the credit card companies did, I know they did it reluctantly, but at least on your bill now, it does give you that little section saying, if you only pay the minimums, it'll take you this long, and how much interest it'll be on your debt. So at least people see that now. They never had it on there before on the bill, so people didn't. They just pay the minimum. You never pay it off.
Right. It can take you forever. If you've only got a small amount of debt, that's not as big a deal. But if you've got like $5,000 or $10,000 in debt, and many people, I've talked to people that've had $70,000 and $80,000 in debt. I'm not kidding. It can get very, very scary in a hurry. If you just pay minimums, you're never going to get out of debt. It could take you decades. So it's very important, even if you can only pay an extra $10, okay, whatever you can come up with, just pay a little bit extra every single month, and it's going to help.
Now, for people that have a job and can afford to at least start paying it down, that's one thing, but sadly some people find themselves no income. I know you talk about in the book trying to negotiate payment. That's not always easy to do with these credit card companies.
It's not. It is not. But, it's an option that's out there. And when you're in this situation, you need to take advantage of every option that is available to you, because you never know. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So if you just ask, you might be surprised. And I suggest if you're in a situation where you've lost your job, and goodness knows a lot of people are in that situation, make yourself a little script before you call. Call the credit card company, ask to speak to the hardship department, and this is not publicized. Almost every major credit card company has one, and this department is specifically designed to help in situations like this, where you're suddenly unemployed, or perhaps you've got you've been diagnosed with a serious illness, and now you've got big medical bills. So just kind of practice what you're going to say, and give them a call and see what they can do for you. These programs usually last for about a year. They might do a variety of things. They might lower your interest rate, or they might lower your minimum payment for 6 months. They might, they'll try to work with you, if you've been a good customer in the past, and that's really the key. Now, if you have a history of missing payments, then, hearing the story about how, this is different because you just lost your job, that may not go over well. But if you've been a great customer all along, and, you've gotten into debt because of some unfortunate life circumstances, that's a whole different ballgame there. So, take the time to call, just sincerely, lay out what's happened to you. And, I've talked with a lot of consumers that have had good luck with this when they've had some unfortunate things happen to them.
Donald Trump once said when he went through his, bankruptcy issues, the best thing he did, just, be in touch with your creditors, even at that time.
Yes, Yeah.
I know that's a different level of owing money, but I mean, it works for everybody, right? Just stay in touch with them as best you can. They are or you're their customer. Maybe they'll help you out.
That's right. And, just being upfront and being proactive and taking that step before it becomes a problem, before you miss that payment, that can make a huge difference in the way, they look at you. They will look at you now and say, okay, this person is very responsible. They hate it that this is happening, that they can't pay the bill. We're going to help that person. So it helps with perception as well as it may help you in a practical sense, and you might get some financial relief.
Well, good tips in the book. It's called The Debt Escape Plan. We've been talking with Beverly Harzog today. And Beverly, give out your website. People get in touch with you if they like and get a hold of the book.
That's right. I'm at Beverly Harzog. That's HARZOG.com. I answer questions. I'll do credit card reviews if anyone has a request for that. And I have no affiliate relationships with credit card issuers, so my reviews are totally unbiased.
Well, Beverly, it's always great to chat with you. Hopefully we can do it again. If you have another project in the works, please keep in touch with us. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Doug.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles Media.